From the public. All righty. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda if there's no modifications or changes?
Yes, Mr. President, motion to approve the agenda for Thursday, December 14, 2023.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Purchase order log. Any questions for Tracy? Keep her on the hot seat back here. If not, we'll move on down. Internal budget revision. There we go. How's that? Okay. You want internal budget revisions, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Lyon?
You,
Okay.
you have one from Will from Fiduciary. He had some training and he's asking to move monies from his training line or from his materials and supplies to his training line item. It is funded and I see no issues.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Leadership Berkeley class of 2022?
Yeah, and I think that's a typo. I think he meant 23.
That's what I was wondering. I mean,
It wasn't last year. He's involved now.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. All righty. Change in status. We have a new hire recommendation received from the Honorable Sheriff Nathan Harmon for Shania or Shania. Okay. As a part-time civil service processing server with an hourly rate of $15.50 an hour, effective December the 15th, 2023. Have a change in status received from Randy Lilly, Emergency Services Manager for Tyre Drummond, to change part-time rate from $13.23 to $17.83, and that is effective December the 2nd, 2023. He returned from military leave. Glad he's back. Change in status received from Randy Lilly for Philip Barrow, to correct hourly rate from $21.09 to $17.83, effective December the 13th, 2023. And a letter of resignation received from Court Security from Fred Walls, effective January 1st, 2024. Any other changes there you know of? Alrighty, approval of the minutes. Commissioner Boyd was not present, so we'll pull them out and get a motion to approve those.
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes of November 30th, 2023 as presented.
As presented. Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
All right, two of those. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carried. Thank you, sir. We have a bond release from P&G Project Independence, Pond Number 1 Division, Berkeley County, or BCP file number 2106-207, tied to 2015-199 bond. Number is 107274679. Engineering Department has that recommendation. Bond reduction P&G, Project Independence Pond Number 1, diversion BCP file 2210-3003, tied to 22210-302 and 2104-151 and 2109-0079. Bond number 014225442, and engineering has that recommendation. Got a 7 here, nothing for 7. Is that on your old?
You've got another one.
Yeah, I got another one there. It's number 8. Okay, typo. Bond reduction for Berkeley Ridge, Section 2, grading file 2102-046, tied to 2302-059 and 2302-060. Bond numbers 100589044. Engineering has that recommendation. And we have a canceled check request from the clerk's office. I have that in here. Okay. Okay, got it. And after that, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for December 14th, 2023.
Okay, have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. And then, moving right along, we have a correction of assessment logs, and Larry's not here, but we have a substitute for Larry.
Quality
A
substitute.
quality substitute. Yes, indeed. We have 4 personal property tax
How's
exonerations.
Doc doing?
He's doing pretty good. Yeah.
I need to stop over and see.
Yeah, they saw him yesterday, so he's doing really good.
I saw him Tuesday.
Yep. Yep.
Very
So, good morning.
Good morning.
We have 4 personal property exonerations for office error. They total $234.44.
Okay. I have a motion to approve the 4 personal property tax exonerations due to office error.
So moved.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. 2 real estate tax exonerations. for office
Yeah, 2 real estate due to office error. Farm wasn't added to it for $636.20.
Okay, motion for the 2 real estate tax exonerations due to office error.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Moving right along. Board and meeting reports. Mr. Boyd.
Well, we had our monthly roundhouse meeting this month. Actually had our authority and our foundation meetings this week. There's a good bit going on over there. The Merrymakers Market is moving along. Last week we had over 75 vendors. The first weekend, a big turnout. Santa Claus was there. Lots of things going on. I heard Eddie stopped by there. I think this is a great event. These guys worked really hard on this event and getting ready for it. It's something we haven't seen around here in a while. This weekend it continues. I think there's many of the vendors who'd only signed up for one weekend actually signed up to come back this weekend, so that's a big plus. Most of the proceeds, if not all the proceeds from the vendor fees and things minus expenses, are coming back to the Roundhouse, which is good. The elevator steps project's moving along. All the masonry and brickwork is being finished up down there on that project there on the back. The gutter and spouting project is underway. That is coming along. They've started, I think, and almost completed the upper ring on the Roundhouse, which has already helped with some of the water around the windows that we've been having a problem with those windows up there. And then they're getting ready to do the bottom. We have a lot going on there. Just encourage people to stop out and come down, and we'd like to publicly thank Kim Martin for making a $1,000 donation to the Roundhouse at the meeting last night.
Very good. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Mr. Barnhart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Had a full council meeting of Region 9 Planning and Development Council. We had a new member, Andy Blake, for the city of Martinsburg. We actually approved several members to board members to various committees to fill them out because of the changes in membership. And then we had staff reports, and we had a nice lunch catered by the airport, what's it called?
Crosswinds.
Yeah, Crosswinds, very nice lunch. And then the interesting thing was Nick Deal and Matt Mullinex gave a presentation on the EPTA Multimodal Transit Center project. And in fact, I was thinking that it would behoove the county commission to have Matt come in here. It's about 15 minutes long, and give us the report just to catch you up on.
Probably get Matt and Elaine both to come in. if they
Well,
want
Elaine
to.
wasn't there,
Yeah.
but Matt and
Okay.
Elaine put him on the agenda and have him stop by and give us the update. And that was my meeting.
Okay. Anything else? I'm sorry, go ahead. Anything else?
Anything else?
No.
Did have one more thing about the Roundhouse. I forgot to say, we did slate for September 7th and 8th, an outdoor big outdoor bonanza market for like hunting, fishing, and that sort of thing. Big fundraiser for the Roundhouse, and we're looking forward to getting lots of vendors and having a big event with that.
Make it as big as the one up in Harrisburg, PA for the hunter show up there.
We're hoping to Sportsman Outdoor Show.
Sportsman's out there. That'd be
Yep.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Mr. Catlett.
Yes, sir. Had a farmland protection meeting Monday night, which I was not able to attend, but Jennifer's on the farmland board. Were you there, Jennifer?
I was not in.
Yeah, okay. I think she'll agree with me, though. They have a very active board, and I've been real pleased over the past year with the way they operate. I think they've got good members on there that work hard, and I don't see any problems at all with the way they handle their business. So been pleased with that. Also, yesterday, we got an invitation to attend a legislative luncheon at James Rumsey. And so I went there, and first of all, the meal was unbelievable. The students fixed this lunch for us. It was a 4-course meal, and you had several choices, but it was fabulous. I mean, fabulous. I had to pay good money to have eaten there yesterday. But Blair was there. Several of the delegates, even though they just got back from interims the night before. And so I took the opportunity before we went out on the tour of the place to speak about Rumsey and how they helped the park system over the years when I was there with their electrical and masonry departments especially. But I also reminded people that they have a firefighting class there for adults. And wouldn't it be nice if we got the 1% sales tax so we could start hiring their graduates in Berkeley County as paid firefighters? So,
Actually, I did actually employ one of them, and he was top notch.
and I also informed the group that, we've been trying to work with Rumsey to build a training center there for firefighters and EMS as well as law enforcement. That they're offering the property, the utilities, the cost of taking care of the building. If we could put together the funding, a couple $1 million to build this thing. And that stirred a lot of interest. In fact, I got a phone call after the meeting that day just about that. So it was a great opportunity, but
It's about Eddie, we talked about a $4 million
Between 3 and 4 million.
Yeah.
but it would be nice to get that thing started at some point. So, but there was a lot of interest there about that.
Yeah,
Rumsey's a
great.
great facility, and we're fortunate because it serves the 3 counties, and it's in our county, of course. But there's great opportunities there, and their adult programming is. And one thing I did know they were doing, one of the first places we went into, they have 2 people on staff, and all they do is work with people in the community for small business opportunities and try to help them get started. And
That building's gotta be, what, 50 years old?
it opened in 1970.
Oh,
I was a
okay.
junior in high school, and it opened in 1970.
Is it still adequate as far as size and?
It is. They've added some buildings, and they've got plenty of space. And obviously, they have plenty of room because they're offering several acres for this facility.
Yeah.
If we can get the money to do
That's all I wanted, because it's a nice piece of property and plenty
It
of room
is.
for expansion.
It is. It was donated by Norman Dillon years ago. That
I
property.
used to make hay in that field.
Yeah. And there's a
Before
plaque
1970.
recognizing that. So, it does tell you how old it is then if you make
Yeah.
hay there.
Yes, sir. I made hay on all those fields, Headsville High School, all that property.
Yeah.
But that's ancient history.
Yes, it
Turns
is.
out.
Turns out.
But that's all that I have, Jim. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Eddie, how about you?
Yes, sir. On Monday, the LAPC met. There's a mass casualty incident class coming up on Friday that I plan to attend, especially with the interstate. And I do have a little bit to share with them, having been very involved in the 54 car pileup back a number of years ago. So there's just some things I was afraid would get lost, of things that we would do different. I would hope that they would do different today, that things that we didn't do then, just so that their situation gets handled a little bit better. Also, Development Authority met. Things are obviously are still moving. Jennifer is busy showing folks, potential corporate folks, the properties in the area, and she's extremely busy with them. So things are still really moving well. The Dunn Building meeting, I wasn't able to meet, but Gary was here for that.
Yeah, just an update, Eddie and his double book schedule. The Dunn Building, the new finance offices will be complete end of day tomorrow. We'll move finance from the first floor to the second floor next week. They'll start demolition in that space to ready it for fiduciary. The first floor assessor space demolition is done. We actually start setting walls next week. The addition of the ambulance authority on the front end and the offset outside, that's coming together. Everything's actually ahead of schedule. They're predicting now to be done in May as opposed to August.
Very good.
Entire project.
Yeah, and also the out-of-state tag with the assessor's office, the sheriff's office, Gary met, and so far they've made over 3,000 contacts, a little over 3,100 contacts. They know for sure that 230 have switched their tags, 95 are exempt, but they've still got a lot of work to do, and they're not quite ready to move to the next level of their enforcement, but that's coming. And also the day report, that facility is, if you've noticed, we've got a block coming out of the ground. The one stair tower is being built right now. So they're making good headway there as well. So I think everything's on schedule and going really well. I tell you, early in with them, I think between them and the contractor we have here, Waynesboro Construction and Breckville and Hellman, we were able to get really two good contractors to work on our projects. They're easy to work with. They understand our issues. In this building, they found a lot of things that we didn't know until you open up. But they made Gary aware of them very quickly, and they get addressed. So they're doing really well.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, I didn't have any county meetings, but I did attend the risk pool meeting that we had for this last quarter of the year.
Where was that?
Was that the Greenbrier?
Oh, man, that really, dang, you're just, yeah.
Yeah,
you're just-
it's a seven
Struggling.
and a half hour drive down and back
Yeah.
for 2 hour meeting. So it was good. So, but anyway,
You didn't stay overnight.
yeah, they had drove down the day before.
There you go.
But it was kinda-
Uh-huh. It's getting better as he talks.
Oh, it's tough to bear the crown. But anyway, the risk pool is in very good condition as far as its finances. It's probably had one of its best years on record for since its existence. We talked about some EVOC training that they offer. Eddie had mentioned maybe we'll offer the track out at James Rumsey if we need to have anything out there. We'll maybe get in touch with them, and we'll let Steve Rawlings know that we do have maybe a location that we could do some of our own EVOC training too. So what else was it? They discussed a few things about some of the claims, but don't get into too much detail because that leaves us at a point where we could be called in for depositions. And if we hear about the claim, but we don't hear the details. So there's nothing that, any board member could have anything to add to a claim or anything. So other than that, that was it. And tonight I have a fire board meeting, so I'll be back in here again. So, all righty, moving right along. We have a new application received from Dave Pittsnoggle for Berkeley County Public Service Water District. Do we want to bring him in for a
He's
meeting?
actually scheduled
Today?
come in
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
But I would like to get Alex Doye. He had contacted me and has interest in serving on the Criminal Justice Board. He's currently a EMT with the Ambulance Authority, and he has obviously an interest in that to serve on that board. So I'd like to be able to get Alex in for an interview.
Very good. All righty, that brings us, we're a little bit ahead of time for for Tom to come up, supervisors, voters registration. Do we want to go ahead and, Jennifer? Huh? I was going to say, if you want to go ahead and we'll do an interview and move you right along if you want to. Huh?
Oh, Gina, she can dance away, the mic's her.
Okay. Well, come on up, Gina, and you're candidate for Region 9 Development Authority.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about yourself that we don't know.
I don't know what you don't know.
Well, in your public life.
My name is Gina Long. I've lived in Martinsburg, Berkeley County area since 1996 when I graduated high school. I've filled a lot of roles. You probably are aware I am employed by the city of Martinsburg. I am not seeking appointment through my employer to this board, which is why I'm here before you today. I feel like it's in everyone's interest to keep those things separate.
Yes, it is. Well, we'll start with HD and move down the board and ask any questions if he has any.
You have any new visions or ideas for the board, or what is your goals to accomplish while on this board?
I just like to see the advancement of our community. I know that the Region 9 board is really good at finding money in ways that we can help. I think they work clear out in Paw Paw. And that's of great interest to me. I believe that the redheaded stepchild of West Virginia, the Eastern Panhandle, doesn't always get everything that we could, and there are just lots of ways I'd like to look at trying to expand that.
Mr. Barnhart.
Well, thank you. Well, as you stated, Region 9 Development Council is the smallest of the development councils in the state of West Virginia. There's 11, and we're the smallest in staffing, and not quite area, but pretty darn close. I think Northern Panhandle may be smaller. Some regions have staff of 15, 20 people. Of course, they do a lot more, but that's pretty incredible. So you're aware of what Region 9 gets into.
Yes,
You've never been to a Region 9 meeting or anything.
I have not.
I didn't think you had, but I'm currently chair of Region 9 Planning and Development Council. Will be for another year, and then it's all over for me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, about time.
Or condolences, we're not sure yet.
Yeah. Many people have said, "You still on the commission?" I said, "Yeah." So HD kind of alluded to it, but you got anything else to say about how you feel about Region 9?
No, Rachel and her staff are incredible and work very hard with what little they have. As you said, it's the smallest. No, I would just like to see us look at ways to transportation, help with public transportation. That's big. Help come up with ways to fund things for the kids and families. The same thing everyone else wants.
Yeah, well, I've always been of the opinion that Region 9 the staff needs to increase. They need to increase staff and do more with the staff. And they're starting to develop that. So hope that trend continues on. And I thank you for your interest in Region 9. It's actually the first board that I requested to be a member of when I came on the commission 11 years ago. And I've been on it ever since, and have not regretted one day of being on Region 9 Planning Council. So there you go.
All right. Mr. Catlett, have any questions?
Well, Region 9 is a clearinghouse for all the grants and things, and all my years at Parks and Rec, every grant that we pursued, had to clear it through Region 9. I think you've done a good job, and I just appreciate the fact that you're willing to serve our community. We have so many appointments and so many boards, and it's really hard to find good people. And I think that you do a wonderful job. I know your work ethic at the city, what it's been. Appreciate you, just your willingness to serve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eddie?
Gina, is there a particular skill set that you could bring to the table?
I have a lot of experience in local government. I know how it works. I know, all the little games that have to be played here and there, and the people that you need to talk to. I do have a master's in public administration, so I not only know it, naturally, but also
Educationally.
Kind of live it.
I do have a little bit of education. I think I would be a tremendous asset to the board, just because I spent so much time in the local government game.
I look at you, and I know that you have very strong attention to detail, and I think that'd be very critical on this board in particular. So, unlike the rest of them, thanks for applying, and from what I know, I think you'd be a great asset to them.
Thank you.
You've got a couple references down here that, I'm just kind of questioning them. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, but Gina, thanks for coming in, and I don't have any questions. They pretty much get the.
Thank you, John.
So thanks again, and we'll let you know here pretty soon.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Tom Gilliams, Supervisor for Voters Registration, changes for City of Martinsburg precincts.
I can also throw in a vote for Gina. She is definitely detail oriented, kept us on track as well. We had sent in a Class 2 legal ad just over 30 days ago showing the new precincts. Speaking with Gary earlier, a couple of months ago, we had wanted to make sure that we had kept to the 80 precincts that we had with the city and with Gina and their team working within the wards and making changes there. And our team making changes to work within what they've done. We still have 80 precincts. All the changes that we made, every change that we did, the precincts still have the same polling locations. So we made sure that all happened. There are no multiple precincts with multiple wards now, which was a issue that we had back in November. But as pursuant to Election Code 317B, I believe it is. We'd just like to hope to get this map approved so that we can move forward.
Okay.
So how many of those precincts are in the city of Martinsburg? 80.
Of the 80, we now have 12.
12 in the city of Martinsburg.
What's the average voter count in each one of those? Is it, there's like a,
Inside the city,
yeah.
probably about 1,200, I think.
Okay.
So there's urban area, and then what's the other classification for?
Rural.
Rural.
And it's defined in code how many are supposed to be placed in each, and that is part of their task and part of their role.
Yeah.
Total voters, that was about, 80,000 still in?
We're over 90 now.
Is it over 90?
Yeah.
Wow.
And these have been discussed with the city, and
Yep.
they're happy.
Yes.
Good.
Well, they're not unhappy.
Would you like the city to respond?
Well, being that you're here, you can.
The city is tasked with laying out wards, and we were perfectly satisfied with the way that the county was able to arrange these precincts within the wards. I appreciate all the work.
Very good. All right.
Yeah, once again, the key to this success is communication.
Yes.
And so thank
Agreed.
both of you for working through the issues.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the voting precincts within the city confines of the city limits of Martinsburg.
Well, it's just for the whole county.
For the whole county, okay. Yep. So can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Yay.
Thank you,
Now I
sir.
got a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
We
We
will
got
hold you up.
15,000 people to send letters to now.
Oh, my. All right.
All good.
All right. Next up, Jennifer with the Berkeley County Executive Director for the resolutions for the North and South TIF districts.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have something for you quickly. Just because it's almost Christmas, and if I I don't see you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
You as well.
Thank you.
And these are from the Flurries.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you very much.
Have a walk again for Christmas, instead of your 2 flags.
Supposed to be out in the booth by the end of the
Can you
year.
eat the claws on there? I assume
Absolutely.
you can.
Yes, and those are from DeFlurry's downtowns.
Very good.
But yes, thank you guys for your time today. I have, I think Penny has the information. We do have good news that the state did approve both of the TIFs, the north and the south. So today, we're in front of you today to get a resolution to create it's the order creating the TIF district as well as approving the project plan.
Okay. There's a lot of exhibits here to look at. Anthony, have you,
Yes, we reviewed it.
everything looks
Good to go.
good to go? So all we need is a motion. Two motions.
Yes.
Okay, the north.
Thank you.
One for the north and one for the south district.
That's correct.
So
Districts.
I'd like to make that motion that we approve and adopt the TIF districts as presented as number 1 and number 2, which one is on the north end of the county, number 2 is the south end of the county TIF.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Do we need 2 motions?
Two separate motions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll do the north first. Okay, the motion for the north TIF district first, and second by HD. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. And for the south TIF district,
I so move that we do the same for the south.
okay. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Now what?
Congratulations.
Yes,
It's
yes,
very
thank you. I do believe it will go into effect January 1.
Did you think the process, as far as what it took the development office to come to this conclusion, was about normal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we didn't receive any further
No
requests for
issues or anything that
information.
came up that we, yeah.
No issues at all.
You remember, probably before you were here, Steve, Mr. Stump was here and explained it to the commission, and he and Jennifer explained how attractive it would look once it got to Charleston. And it
I was here when we did the workshop on the TIF thing here. Yeah, beginning of this year. I forget.
The process went as you would expect. And the next step is really to allow the increment to grow and determine what specific projects out of the overall approval, which is very broad, what specific projects the Commission Development Authority want to pursue.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if there was ever a need to add to or anything, it's just
That
a
is
matter of-
doable. I believe you can add and take away. It would just be a process of coming before the commission again.
It's a similar process.
Okay.
To take parcels out or to add parcels, you get approval from the development office. That's generally very perfunctory.
Okay.
If we're so able to land a large company, how much harder is it to add this TIF district?
That is a legislative approval from what I'm aware of.
Was this as well a legislative?
It was not,
It was not.
no.
The STIF district is a different animal. Because essentially, while the state's giving up property taxes here through the school aid formula, the STIF district takes obviously real, sales taxes, which the state relies on heavily. So that requires development office approval and also requires literally the passage of legislation at the state level. Now, they being the legislature, have become more receptive to sales tax tips. They've done one in Mercer County last year, and they also created one for the Hilltop House Hotel, which is just the hotel, last year. So there is, and
How
because
many in the state, John, would you say, about 5 or 6 total? I know one,
That would bring it to 6.
Montague County has one there.
Mon County has one. Harrison County has one, Wheeling has one, South Charleston has one, and then you add the 2 new ones.
That's 6.
So you're at 6. Yes, sir. But you're well situated because the reality is you draw consumers from other states. I mean, it's one thing if you're putting it in South Charleston, and the only reason I think they were successful with that is because they took that old fly ash pond, set beside Union Carbide, and turning it into usable land. Because the development office doesn't want to see sales tax cannibalized. But if you're building, if you have a new big box store that's going to draw people from out of state, different animal.
What's the limits and what's the use on that if we would so qualify?
The use of the proceeds is very, very broad. Typically, you would see the same types of things that you would see for a real property tip, such as infrastructure, water, sewer, roads. We've actually financed in Morgantown the interstate exit.
Right.
The new interstate exit there was financed with sales tax tip because it generates. I mean, if you have a Walmart, for example, and I don't represent Walmart and I don't know this, but I can approximate their sales at $100 million. Well, that's, I mean, you don't get to include groceries, of course, because there's no tax on groceries, but let's say that's $4 or $5 million a year. That's you can do something with that.
Yeah, we could do a lot with that.
Yeah, you can do a lot with that kind of.
We have the best location with 81 and 84,000 cars a day than anybody in the state or neighboring states. It's an ideal place for it, for sure.
No more valuable property than
here.
along I-81
Yeah.
in the state. Bottom line.
We really appreciate what all y'all did to make this happen.
Yes. Thank you. It was a group effort with you guys too, so.
There's a lot of work, and had the opportunity yesterday to thank Jennifer in our development authority meeting, but I know that Gary had a lot of involvement. I know our legal team had a lot of the assessor's office, the development authority office in the state, with Ms. Carmichael and Steptoe and Johnson with John Stump, who is the expert on TIFs. Thank you so much. And quite honestly, Greg Rowe is the one that had approached me back some time ago for us to look at this. I think it was last February. Went to Alan and said, hey, I don't know much about this. I'd like to learn as much as we can. So that's when he invited John in to educate us on it. So it's been a process.
It is a process.
And I think it's going to be a very positive effect on us.
I agree.
And of course, John was instrumental in the water district and development of the projects there. And I just got privy to a email yesterday that DEP has finally released the district to go to bid on the project.
On the
Amen. Yeah.
Potomac River plan.
Been working on DEP for a couple of months now to release that, and they did.
Very good. Bunker Hill should follow, hopefully within 3 months to get a bid.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think there's any more we can do here today on this, so.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Merry Christmas, you all.
Same to you.
Good luck with that boot.
It's getting better. It's a step up.
Very good.
Gary just got out of his, John. He had one for 6 weeks.
I'm only 6 weeks though.
Oh,
All right.
still, it's like aging a dog.
Do you want to take a break or we want to go ahead? I got Jeff in here if we want to talk to Jeff a little bit.
I'm ready to go on.
Ready to move on? Good? Jeff, come on up. Revision to subdivision ordinance.
Good morning. I sent a memo that's included in the read ahead there to kind of outline where we are. I'm sure you all remember we had a public hearing back in July on the revisions of the subdivision ordinance. Because there was a lot of, requests in terms of public and the development community and others for more input into it, even though, we've been working with people for at least 3 years now, because that's how long I've been here, and I started working on it as soon as I got here. So, but anyway, we had a series of meetings. We requested input. We got emails, letters. Laura Hoffmaster compiled it all into a spreadsheet form so that we had these meetings where we would go over a certain number of sections of our articles in the ordinance and go over any comments, questions, concerns people had. After we had discussions with everybody at these meetings, then she and I and Doug Smith from engineering, we met and went over every single comment, came up with a response to it, basically, whether while we listen to it, we don't think it needs to be incorporated, or we can't, or it just isn't something we agree with, or a number of the things we said, yeah, that's a good point. We should probably do something with that, or we should make that specific change the way they asked for it. And again, Laura compiled it into the spreadsheet so that everybody could see what the changes were that we were proposing. Those went out again to the people who attended those meetings. We haven't really had anything come back since then with additional comments. There are few other things that we're wrapping up at this point, just loose comments that I found that we hadn't, that not somebody who attended these meetings, but just things that had come in early on in the process that I want to make sure we've gone over everything. But essentially ultimately we have to have another public hearing because it's likely that there's going to be some changes that are, different from what was proposed before. The way the statute reads, it's a little vague. It says if there are any changes made that are other than technical changes, then there needs to be another public hearing. What technical changes means isn't really clear, but I basically take it to mean if there's anything fairly substantive, more than just a few words here and there or some minor change one or two places in it, then there should be another public hearing. And just to be safe, having a public hearing, we'll know that we're covered. But going into that, I would like to have the most complete and up-to-date version that we can possibly have so that we don't drag this out any further. So what I was asking is for some direction from the commission, how you want to proceed to get us to that point. We had talked, kind of bounced around the idea of having a workshop where you could sit down with Doug and Laura and I and anybody else that wants to attend, and we can go through those comments with you and say what we thought about them. If it's not, if it's something you want to discuss, if it's just something you want to review all of the comments and materials that we have and decide for yourself if you think we did a good job in our consideration of them, we could, just give you some time to go over those yourselves and then have a public hearing with that version of it, or get your input directly to us and then we could do it. Whichever way you want to do it, I think is fine. It's just, I want to have the commission basically decide on the proposed changes that have been put forth so far, put those into a version of the ordinance, publish that ordinance, and have a public hearing, considering that as the final version of the ordinance that you would be adopting.
One reason I want to see the ordinance changed is to eliminate the need for everybody getting waivers for everything. That makes no sense. Obviously, it's an inadequacy of the current ordinance to deal with conditions. And then, of course, I would like to see the ordinance stand the test of time, that we don't have to keep adding to or taking away from the ordinance.
Right. I mean,
That's a tough one there.
A lot of the changes that were made up to July especially were going through with planning and engineering and trying to highlight things from the old ordinance that are consistent problems or things that they have to deal with a lot in terms of waivers or complaints, or it causes various kinds of problems. And then we tried to address those.
Well, the history of the ordinance has been checkered, because it even came down to past ordinances, which ordinance applied. 'Cause
Right.
there were several ordinances. There was a question whether the ordinance had ever been approved or filed in John Small, the clerk's office. I mean, it was a royal mess. And we got to eliminate all that and start afresh and say, hey, here's what you're going by.
Yes. And I mean, I think even the paragraph that discussed how going forward you apply, whether it's under the old ordinance or under the new ordinance, we've even took comments about that at these meetings, and we've thought about it and changed the wording a little bit to try to make it what we think is better based on the input we've received, and more straightforward, as up until a certain point you're under the old one unless for some reason you would want the new requirements, which is not likely since it's probably more onerous than the old ordinance. And after a certain period, then this applies, and there's some great, and if you're already in the process to a certain point, you're grandfathered in basically, so you don't have to start over. But we tried to clarify the language on that. But yes,
My personal opinion is we should have a workshop. I'd rather sit down with you all and discuss the things and me looking at it on my own, and have a workshop if it's available to us. If y'all would take the time to do that, that's what I would like to see.
Well, yeah, you can ask all sorts of questions then and get it.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because at the public hearing, it's primarily to get the input from the public. It's not so much necessarily that you all have, or will be able, that you want to discuss it that much amongst yourselves. Then you kind of want to know what's going on before you go into that position. So that was my thought, was kind of a workshop where, like I said, Doug, Laura, and I, Brian could be there, anybody else you want, and it could be it'd be open to the public if anybody has wants to hear the discussions and so forth.
Well,
but
it should be an open meeting.
Yeah, it is an open meeting. I'm just saying, like, usually a lot of your workshops, like the budget workshops, you don't have a big audience or anything, but people are free to come and listen and know how things work, or watch it on.
There just won't be a lot of public comment until we have the public hearing.
Right.
Yeah. It would be no.
It's
public
more of a,
comment, it would be public
it's
comment.
open so that they can come listen, and where they can, they can know whatever they want to know about what's going on. With just the public hearing itself would be the time for them to make comments and so forth. But that kind of separate the process that way, so that we can go ahead and make those changes once, not necessarily at the end of the workshop, but maybe the next meeting after that, you would vote to implement a certain list of changes into the ordinance. Then we would publish that ordinance, announce it for public hearing, and
Well, I would also invite the planning commission members, I think would be
sure.
efficacious.
Yeah, because they did, they
had
reviewed
input.
it and approved it, or approved it going to you in the first place. So yes,
Yeah,
that
and I don't want to go home and tell a certain person that they're invited.
I understand.
President, what's your time frame for this workshop? When would you like to have it? Early January?
I would say so. Try to do it before we get into the budget too much. Does that work?
Maybe second Thursday of January?
Yeah.
That's fine.
You want to make it a late item on the morning agenda, or you want to break for lunch and then make it an early item in the afternoon?
I would do it.
Early item in the afternoon? so
Yeah.
1 o'clock penny on the second Thursday,
It's the 11th.
the 11th?
Yep. That sounds good. 11th, and then
Well,
We already have a
Penny and I
special,
will.
we already have a
propose-
special afternoon session
on the 11th, yeah.
coming forward.
Right. We'll come up with a date.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, well, thank you. That's all I wanted was some guidance so we can get this thing accomplished.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jeff. All right.
Appreciate all your work on it, Joe.
It's, well, we want to go ahead and approve the holiday schedule.
If you'd like. So it's good to be a government employee when it comes to this
Yeah,
process. So,
Yeah, these years are nice, aren't they?
so next year, if you approve these, there'll be 17 legal holidays. It's an election year. And then we all know, the days before and after, we kind of watch what the governor does. But as it stands, starting January 1st, clear up to and include New Year's Eve, the 31st of December, there are 17 in that list.
And the eves are a whole day, correct?
In
New
this
Year and
instance,
Christmas
these-
Eve are both whole days.
in this instance, they're proposed. They're a whole day.
And Juneteenth is a holiday
It is, in
again?
fact, a holiday.
And that doesn't take into account what the governor may
That's
add
what I
on
meant
to
a minute ago. Yeah.
it.
So the-
He's added 2 this year so far, hadn't he?
Well, I'd like to add a third one.
your birthday?
No, West Virginia Day for the rest of West Virginia is June 20th. For us, it's sometime in August. We were not part of West Virginia on June 20th, 1863. We were added sometime,
We were adopted.
Matt Umstead can give you the date, but, you know.
I mean, I'm okay with 18 if you want to give one more.
We'll take away one and maybe add another one. I won't be the one to pick the one we're taking away. Somebody else will do that. Since you brought it up, Jim, you pick the one you want to take away.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. You know what? I knew that was coming. All right. So can I have a motion to approve the holiday schedule as presented to us today?
So moved.
With subject to change on
There you
governor's,
go. That's a
governor's comments. Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. All right. Oh, he has one more item, the old jail reuse.
Yes, sir.
Let's hear it.
Well, as you know, January 21st of 2025, you have 3 new judges in the judicial center. You also know that you're working on finalizing the plan for the Crawford Building expansion and annex to facilitate room for the beginning of the folks that will show up January 1, 2025. The debt service on the Crawford Building project is about $20 million. Well, I just got notice yesterday from Greg Isaacs that the bond market, proposed 24 bond market predicted for you is about 3.75, which equates to about $800,000 a year debt service on 10. So the 1.6 on in 24 and 25, 1.6 on the entire 20 million. As you all know, I've advised you before, we're not in a position to assume a new $1.6 billion worth of debt service right now. In 2029, your finance model begins to change as you start to pay off the oldest of your notes. In 2030, you pay off the largest of your notes that exist today. So in 2029 and 2030, you start to get real opportunity for some the effort to be able to fund some of those big changes. 2029 and 2030 don't help you with 3 new judges to start January 1 of 2025. Mr. Boyd said about a year ago, he said, hey, what about the old jail? And I laughed. He said, you ever been to Kanawha County? Their courtrooms are this big. And we've discussed. So where we are today is trying to figure out something we can do that would offer an opportunity to create an additional courtroom and space for one of the judges. If we could create a courtroom and space for one judge, that building could breathe for a little bit. Have casual information that says in 2028 you could see 2 more. Something else we'll have to cross that bridge down there. That's not done, but we know there's 3 coming. So I met with the chief judge and discussed options, and in that conversation, he said, well, what about the old jail? So we've done a couple walkthroughs. I reached out to Crabtree Roball. They came up, Eddie and I walked the building with them. The vision is to take Judge Lawrence, or not Judge Lawrence, but Judge Redding, and move he and his staff and his courtroom efforts into the old jail. Everybody agrees, from him to the architects and engineers, that it can be done. The vision is, could it be done in time for this January 1st, 2025 project? And everybody believes, yes, it can. Obviously, the second question to that is what kind of money? So the proposed budget would be less than $500,000 for the renovation, and it's a temporary renovation. This isn't create courtroom space and stuff that's equivalent to what's in the Judicial Center. This is a secured, safe, functional environment for the judge and his staff that meets ADA compliance and all of that stuff, and give you some breathing room from now until 2028, 29, when you can really begin to put the Crawford Building project on the street and get that thing moving.
Well, how much, you're talking about $500,000 to develop it. How much would it cost to operate it?
There would be no change in staffing. You'd only be talking utilities.
You wouldn't increase court security or anything like that?
We would not. So,
Or you have to have an
Other than the
additional?
assignment of a deputy to the new judge.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
doing that no matter what.
We're gonna do that even if we go to jail.
But you'd have to have, security, extra security to enter the building and all that kind of stuff.
So you're staffed for that now. Just location of those staffing will have to move. There's still some logistics to work out, but other than gas, water, electric, there's no change.
And all this would be on the first floor or the
So
main floor?
the vision is that all of the public interaction, courtroom, prisoner input, output would be on the first floor. The judge and his staff would use the second floor.
Is there an elevator to the
There
second?
is not, there is not. Again, public interface and everything with regard to ADA compliance would be on the first floor, and then existing staff would work on the second floor.
Do you have to have ADA compliance to get to the second floor?
For staffing and such, they were content as it is now.
Oh.
There was no great desire and concern for that.
If there would be an issue, we would have to address it at that
Yeah.
time.
And again, this is a bridge. This is a decision. You're blessed to have the building in its location.
Well, it was a deal we couldn't turn down.
There was some good forethought in making that acquisition. I don't believe anybody ever thought we would be talking about this and you would be considerate for action. So the construction budget would be less than $500,000. The A&E budget around 60,000, or around, excuse me. The A&E for the project would be right around $60,000. So total not to exceed $600,000, all done. If the commission likes that vision and it's palatable to you, I can get started on that. And then I also need to reach out to the Supreme Court and make sure they don't throw up a big red stop sign. I can't imagine they will. The judge has casually spoken to them. So if the commission agrees with the dollar amounts, I can get to work on it, get things started.
How long would it take to get the plans drawn up?
So plans will hit the street 1st of March, turn around and back by end of March, construction starting April and done by mid-December.
Okay, that's moving forward.
We also have 2 contracts on premise right now, so grabbing a vendor is not going to be an issue, so that helps.
Okay. You've heard of some of the recommendation.
You need a motion?
I think we need consensus.
Well, I think consensus is moving.
I don't think we really have much of a choice in this. I think we should go ahead and.
Not unless anybody has $20 million in their pocket I can use.
Well,
I don't have
I
20
just
cents
bought the
right
wife
now.
a new car, so I'm a little strapped.
But the good news is, I think the legislators are very receptive to the idea that when we do the Crawford building, that we're gonna need help.
Mhm.
And we're gonna keep fighting for a dollar for dollar match, I hope, so we only have to come up with 10 million instead of 20. We'll see how that goes, but the other thing is the feds are predicting now that too, the economy, that the rates are actually gonna have topped out now, they're gonna actually start dropping next year, so hopefully by the time we get to do the borrow the money for the Crawford building, the rates will be a lot cheaper than they are now, obviously, so.
They were talking that at the meeting on yesterday, that the basis points would
Yeah.
would likely drop here within the next 4 months of.
Is your
next
next step to go to the Supreme Court? Is
The
that,
next step will be to turn the A&E loose and let them get started. Then, as soon as I tell them, I'll start the Supreme Court, hoping that it's fast. I'm definitely not gonna hold up the A&E
Yeah.
waiting court. I mean, when push comes to shove, if you don't do this, I have no idea what your options are. Put a couple judges in.
if we
in
have
for
an
you.
option, period.
Great.
Yeah.
That building is full. And the only other option at hand does not create another courtroom. We can massage that building on the 4th floor and move people around, but it still leaves only 6 courtrooms with 8, 9 judges in 6 courtrooms. And they don't, it's almost impossible.
my other question is, how do you know how big the courtrooms are in Kanawha County?
Well, that's a
He was
story
in there
for another
he
day.
was videotaping for a movie.
Ask him about how large the jail cells are.
That one I don't know.
All righty, I think you got a consensus here, so. All righty, we're gonna take a break here
Yeah,
until
no
our
choice.
interview person comes in, so. Okay, we're back in session, and next up we have Ms. Van Meter,
Well,
candidate
that's good.
for Region 9 Development Authority. So come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself, and we're going to probably ask a couple of questions, and we'll start with HT, but go ahead.
Okay, great, thank you. I am Donna Van Meter. I'm a lifelong resident here of Berkeley County, graduated from Hedgesville High School.
Was that strike one?
Three of the five of us graduated.
Thanks for coming in, man.
I should have said that. And my whole family is here. My children live here. We've been really blessed that our adult children have been able to stay here. And my mother and I have served our community as educators. And right now I serve the community in my role as the director at James Rumsey Technical Institute, which is a unique perspective as an educator because I'm not only seeing things through the educational eyes, but we work with students from Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan counties, and then we work with adult students from the four-state area, and have to keep one foot in academics and career technical training, and the other foot in business and industry and career pathways. So through that, I've had a lot of opportunities to work with business and industry and get a larger perspective of the strengths of our community and the challenges of our community. It's been very eye-opening. We have so many strengths, but we also have so many challenges. And when I heard that this opening was available, I believe in service, and I would just like to, be considered for a position on the Region 9 board. Region 9 has been very supportive of our school as far as facilitating grants that align with Region 9 goals, and so I'd just be very interested in continuing to serve in that way.
All right, HT?
Well, as similar to what I did earlier, what do you think you could bring to the table, or what kind of things do you think you could help to change or do better with the region now?
When I've looked at the board configuration, I have not been part of this board. There's no one on the board from any educational facility in the Eastern Panhandle, whether we're looking at K-12 or post-secondary. Schools are a microcosm of the community, so whatever's out there ends up within our school systems, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I feel that decisions that are made by this board and by other boards do impact families and their children that are in our school systems. So those all trickle down, and I feel it's important to have the educational perspective of decisions that are made regionally brought to the table.
Okay. Anything else? Mr. Barnhart?
Well, thank you. Yes, Region 9 is very important. I'm chairman of Region 9, so there you go.
That's why it's so important.
That's why I think it's important. They do a lot for the Eastern Panhandle. It's probably one of the smallest regional councils in West Virginia. There's 11. And it's the smallest budget-wise. I'm really, my effort is to make it bigger. That's probably not a good thing to say about making government bigger, but I think Region 9, they're a clearinghouse for all the grants in the Eastern Panhandle, and they take that job seriously. And we've got a good board appointed by cities and counties of the Eastern Panhandle, and it's a diverse board. And you're correct, you're replacing a sort of a medical technology person, but education is important. And you're right, we don't have an education person on the board, and I feel that you would probably fill a slot. Do you have anything, I mean, to make this a question, which is what I'm supposed to do rather than preach to you, do you have anything in mind that you want Region 9, more staff or more money? Or, of course, money's a problem because most of their money is either grant funded, federally funded, or of course, each jurisdiction pays money into Region 9, and that will probably increase next year. But, anything along that line that,
I think I can bring empathy to the table as a school system. We are locally, state, and region, and nationally funded.
Yeah,
And
and-
it is a small board. It is a
Yes.
small administrative group.
Yeah.
What they're able to do is amazing.
well, you're suited because your area of James Rumsey is the same size as Region 9. So it's not like you're a Berkeley County person or Morgan County person or Jefferson County person. You're all of them. So that really works for you. And I appreciate that.
Sure.
Steve?
Thank you.
I was bragged about my wonderful day yesterday, having lunch at the James Rumsey and then the tour of the place. And y'all earlier, and our hostess was Donna, so she did a great job. Her staff did a great job, and we broke down into 3 groups, I think it was, and so we went to the different, departments and all. And Donna actually followed our group around, which was wonderful. So it was a great experience. And if you're going to get someone from Region 9 from the educational perspective, then she would be the best rep, because
Yeah.
not only is it about students, but all the adults that they, I walked into the electric class and I said, well, they said these are young adults, and I thought they were high school kids because that's how old I am. They just looked a whole lot younger than they were, but the job, I was really impressed because the job turnover there, they said, how many people were in that class, Donna? But
So there were
as
2
soon as
cohorts,
they
yeah.
graduate from there, and it's a year program, they have jobs waiting on them. So, it's just do a
Well,
great job. And
The service industry is the up and coming degrees to get. That's for sure.
hands-on trade right now is invaluable. You can get a job anywhere. So,
Because who you going to call in the middle of the night when your electric stops or your
yeah.
plumbing don't work?
David Talbot.
Who?
Talbot.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, you did. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my cohorts there yesterday, commissioner from Jefferson County sat next to me. I won't mention names, but said that she had to bring a plumber in the middle of the night on Thanksgiving, and it cost her $400, and he was there a half hour. So, I said, well, maybe we'll get some people here to help you next time. But she would be a great rep, and I don't have any questions for you. I know you'd represent our community well, the school system well. I just appreciate the fact you're willing to do it, because I know how busy you are with your job.
This is important. It's important for our school as well. A big part of my job is knowing what's going on in the community, not just with business and industry, but with agencies, so that I can, because I have to direct where we go. I have to direct based on labor market needs. So this is also, it would be symbiotic. The information that I'd be engaged in can be used to determine the direction that we serve our community instructionally.
Yeah, we meet quarterly at 12 o'clock for lunch.
For lunch.
You can't have a board meeting with a big group of people unless you feed them.
Sure.
That's just the way it
They
goes.
host
We
the
might be
meetings
able to,
and
Well,
so
we
you
might
get
be
fed
able
out
to
there.
host
Is that
one
what
of
you're-
those.
That would be an option.
I can't just promise that it'll be all healthy. Like, we use real butter, real cream.
But see, when he would attend that meeting after he ate, y'all would get in the classroom where it's nice and warm and dim the lights, and then he'd be out.
Oh, yeah. No question about that.
Eddie, you have any questions?
I don't have a whole lot of questions. You obviously proven yourself to be a great community partner.
Thank you.
We've worked with you over the last year to trying to get a fire training facility in this region, in which you and your folks have offered up the property and the infrastructure for this very much needed project, this training project. So as I told you earlier, I threw your name out this morning because Mr. Whitaker spoke about an EVOC training
Right.
area, and they do have that property there to be able to do that. So, you know, your involvement, you know, with education and everything that goes with it, you'd be I think, a great asset to them. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really won't. So you've been there 11 years?
I have. I
Did-
followed
Did
Vicky
you play
James.
Vicky Rice?
I did.
Yeah. She's been going 11 years?
11 years,
That's hard to
yeah.
believe. I just-
Who was that?
Vicky Reisinger was the director there for.
Vicky
years.
Allen.
Vicky.
Vicky, Annie,
Jack-
I'll tell you,
Jack-
her daughter,
yeah.
but Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I
used to
can't believe
live
it's
two
been
doors
11
down from
years.
me.
I just can't believe it.
It's gone by very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and I'll be honest, I love education. I don't necessarily want to go back into a traditional school. I'm blessed. We have our kids want to be with us, teach in a school where students elect to be. This morning we had 2-hour delay in Berkeley County. The other counties didn't. Berkeley County students were getting rides to school rather
all
than.
those kids
that's,
and
that's
adults.
pretty cool.
Yeah, all those
That's
kids and
pretty cool.
adults are there by choice.
They are.
And that does make
They
a
are.
better situation.
Well, I don't have any questions. Would you be interested in any other board, or is pretty much Region 9 your?
At this point, Region 9, I'm serving on the United Way as well as the Chamber of Commerce. So I think that's
You got a full
healthy.
plate?
I've got a good team at work,
Yeah.
but I don't want to abuse that.
No, very good. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. And
I
we'll,
appreciate your time.
Yep, we'll probably make a decision here, and we'll let everybody know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
all take care. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
All right. Got Mr. Pittsnoggle, not quite here yet.
He's late.
Let's take a break here and see if he shows up here in about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back in session. We do have an executive session for personnel matters. Can I have a motion to go in executive session?
Mr. President, I'm ready to go in executive session for personnel matters.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, and there will probably be action taken once
There
we come
will
out.
what?
Probably be action.
Probably be action.
Action, yes.
Probably.
Probably. So we are in executive session. Thank you. Okay, we're out of executive session. The only action that we have is we've agreed on a proposed timeline for the replacement of the sheriff of Berkeley County, and he will still be sheriff until the 26th of this month. So on the 27th of 2023 of December, the county commission issues a proposed public notice. The commission on the 27th also, commission opens the application process. On January the 10th, the application deadline is at 4 p.m., 1600 hours. And a press release will issue the list of the names of the applicants. On the 11th of January 2024, a special afternoon session, executive session for the applicant's review. And then on the 16th of January 2024, we will have a special meeting, selected applicants interviewed in an open session. And then on the 18th of January 2024, the commission will appoint a new sheriff if all applicants are approved by the previous requirements. And then on January the 19th, 2024, there will be a swearing-in ceremony in the commission chambers by either the county clerk or the chief judge. It'll be the applicant's choice. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This timeline will be posted on our website, and further information will become forthcoming. All righty. If we're all agreeable to that, Gary will make that happen. And Mr. Barnhart?
Mr. President, since there's no public here to ask, I move to recess.
We are in recess.